right, welcome back into the channel. Today we are going to be tier listing NFL teams by how much I would want to watch them in 2025 if I was more of a casual viewer. Since I'm a fucking sicko, my plan this year is, I'm not even exaggerating, and it's really to give you guys the best content. Watch every single NFL game. I have NFL Plus. I'm going to be waking up at 5:30, 5 a.m. on Monday mornings and watching the condensed 45-minute version of every game. That way, when I give you my analysis, you know it's legit. So if you're not subscribed, then that's not worth a subscribe. I don't know what is. But for the fun of it in general purposes, we are now going to be talking about teams that I am excited to watch on that scale. We've got the only in prime time tier. Great players, bad teams, self-explanatory. Quad box. Hey, red zone and you're on? Cool. My pick of the 1 p.m. game. So these guys traditionally gonna be playing at 1 p.m., but I'd pick their game. No complaints if the only game, only primetime game, no complaints from me. Should watch, it should be a good watch, must watch. Those teams. So, only in primetime, New Orleans Saints. Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler, Chris Olave, is he going to be out there? Is he not going to be out there? I like Alvin Kamara for fantasy purposes. If he's on my team, I'll probably tune in a little bit more. No Taysom Hill this year. A team that I don't think is going to be winning a lot of their games, so I don't know how competitive they'll be for the entire game. Just not a team that I'm really looking forward to watching in the year 2025. I actually have to scroll down for a quick second to grab the Indianapolis Colts. Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson, they're just not doing it for me. Again, I like Jonathan Taylor, and he is a great player on a bad team, but I wouldn't call Jonathan Taylor must watch at this point in time. He's pretty surgical the way that he moves. I'm going to throw the Cleveland Browns in this tier. Unless Shador's out there, that's just not interesting to me, to be completely honest with you. They're going to be the worst team in their division. I don't have any doubts about that. Now that I said it, they won't be, but I will not be tuning in to Browns games if I have the choice during my Sunday action. Is there any other team on here that I want to throw into this tier? I love the NFL, so it's really tough for me to put teams in a tier this low. Um, I'm going to throw the Jets in here. I think the Jets will have a good year. I think Aaron Glenn, a good year, relatively speaking, in terms of shifting the culture. I really like Garrett Wilson. He is a great player on a bad team, but I just question if he's going to be involved enough for me to really, really want to tune in. I'm borderline on that. We'll move them up here in case you're reading from left to right, just so it's clear that, hey, like, this is a team that it's right there, man. It's right there for the Jets. Great players on a bad team, from one New York team to another. Give me the Giants, man. Malik Neighbor is going to be real interesting to watch. And I think from an entertainment standpoint, Cam Scadaboo, Abdul Carter, like, there's some really entertaining players on this team. And once Jackson Dart gets out there, like, it will be must-see television, especially if you're a Giants fan. But with Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston, it's just, you're watching for the players. You're not watching for if the team's going to win or not. We kind of know the majority of their results going into the season. No, not the Raiders, not the Raiders. Who else do we got in this tier, man? The Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young, I think it'll be interesting to see his development. Tedero McMillan on this team, but I just don't think that the team is in a spot right now that I think that they'll be competitive against any team in the NFL, thus will be in some blowout action. We keep progressing through here. The Tennessee Titans, man, Cam Ward is a great player to watch, but I don't think they're a good team overall. They will be fun from that standpoint of what does Cam Ward look like play to play, but really that could be more highlights on Twitter. Maybe that's like a better tier for this. Mostly highlights on Twitter could be a good tier there. But by that standard, I'm putting the Dolphins in. You guys know me at this point if you're not new to the channel. I'm just not really a big Dolphins guy. A-Chain, Tyreek Hill, Waddle, like, good players to watch, but the highlight play is probably enough rather than the game in its entirety. And yeah, I'm gonna leave that tier at that. Moving into the quad box tier, this is, as it says, 1 p.m. I got red zone on. The quad box tier, the teams that won't quite make my 1 p.m. big TV slate, the little TV that, I'm putting on. I'm a 2 TV living room guy. If you got an NFL YouTube channel, you move a TV downstairs on Sundays to watch extra ball. And this will be the teams that are going into the quad box on that tier. The Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray, interesting enough. Marvin Harrison Jr., interesting enough. James Conner, interesting enough. They are in competitive games a lot of the time, the Arizona Cardinals, so they'll be in that tier. Uh, the Patriots, I think that they're in this tier. I was close. I was close to putting the Patriots in that tier, but I don't think that they are quite the team that some people are billing them to be. So I'll put them in the quad box tier in terms of how excited I am to watch them. Oh man, oh man. I'll put the Jags in this tier. I'll put the Jags in this tier simply on the back of I think their defense is just going to make them not compete with the better teams in football. And I'll want to keep an eye on Trevor Lawrence and Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas, but I don't think the game itself they're in will be on the big TV in my living room. The Falcons, the same way. Bajan Robinson, Michael Penix, they might be in some competitive games, but I probably wouldn't pick their game per se. Um, the Raiders, same way. Ashton Genty, Brock Bowers, Geno Smith, like give me that electricity. The defense, though, when they're playing, like if they played Baltimore, Detroit, Philly, like would they be competing in that game? I'm just not certain at this point in time. The Dallas Cowboys, I kind of feel the same way about this. Sorry, Cowboys fans, but not really. Um, Man, I love the NFL so much. I just hate putting teams in this bottom tier, so I'm trying to be really, really picky with it. Like the truth of the matter is, like I'm a sicko. Like I will be watching every single one of these teams' games. So yeah, I'm leaving it in that tier for right now. My pick of the 1 p.m. games. This is, we got a bunch of games going on, but it's not the teams that are playing in prime time who I would put on the TV. Pittsburgh, I'm really just interested. Like the defense is going to keep them in competitive games. They're going to be in one-score games. What does Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf and Caleb Johnson do down the stretch of those games? Absolutely. The Chargers, I know that this may seem weird. The Chargers don't play a very fun brand of football. Jim Harbaugh, he's not in it to have fun. He's in it to win football games, and I respect it. But in terms of product on the TV, like there are more exciting teams to watch. I hope that that makes sense to the Chargers fans. Let's see. Who else do we got here? For me, the Green Bay Packers are in this tier. Oh, I messed up. Seattle should be in the quad box tier. Seattle should be in the quad box tier. The Packers. Jordan Love, I think, is exciting as a football player to watch. I think that, I don't love the weapons, so that's why they land here, but they will be in close games. They were in close games last year. They're a fun team for sure. Just for me, a little bit lower ranked. Man, I really think I should try and squeeze one more team in here. I can't do it though. I can't do it. All these teams that I'm looking at right now, I really, really am looking forward to their football games. Up next, we got the no complaints if the only game. I'll put the Houston Texans in this tier. I do worry that their offensive line could, if it really goes south, take them completely out of football games from time to time. But I'm a big Texans believer, and I think they play a really smash mouth style of defense. Like I'd have zero complaints tuning into Texans football. I'm going to put the Vikings in this tier as well. I'm excited to see the development of JJ McCarthy. Same deal, a real smash mouth defense. 49ers, no complaints. Things went south for them last year, so I guess they could this year. But even at that, like they have really fun players to watch. Purdy, McCaffrey, Kittle, Fred Warner on the defensive side of the football. Again, we're talking about some of the really good teams here. I'll put the Broncos here again, more of a defensive oriented team, less shootout potential for this team in my estimation, but again, should be a really good football team this year. I'm trying to eliminate the teams that won't be in shootouts, but I think I'm going to leave it at that. I think that that is good for the no complaints tier. We're into the should watch tier. The LA Rams, man. The LA Rams, while we love Stafford and Puka and Kyron and Devontae Adams, like they traditionally aren't in as many shootout games as you would think. They had that game with the Bills last year that was so fucking good though. But some of their games can be a little lower scoring too. They can kind of just manage through the game plan and do just enough to win from time to time. I'm also going to put Kansas City in this tier. Again, based on what they were last year, they were not always the most exciting team to watch in terms of just offensive firepower and production, they're still the fucking Chiefs. Like, they still got Mahomes, Reed, and Kelsey, like, for sure. So like you should watch when they're on, but must watch, gotta be seated. I don't necessarily feel that way about every one of their games, no matter who they play. Give me the Chicago Bears in this tier. Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, like that's, I mean, that's virtually must watch. I just don't know that they're going to be good enough to be must watch. Like in week 16, is their game going to be meaningful? I don't know. I don't know. I'll put Tampa in this tier as well. I love Baker. I love all the weapons that they have. They have a fun defense. They are a borderline Super Bowl contenders, for sure. And yeah, that's my should watch tier. And then we got the must watch tier. We got 6 teams in this tier, 3 in the AFC, 3 in the NFC. Baltimore, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. Need I say anymore? The Cincinnati Bengals, man, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. As much as I don't think it creates a perfect team, it creates a very fun team to watch. They were in shootouts last year. The 2 games between these 2 teams were 2 of the best football games last year, no doubt about it. Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen, James Cook, like again, similar to Lamar and Derrick Henry. Need I say any more? Philadelphia Eagles, defending Super Bowl champions, Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Devonta Smith, like great offensive pieces, a good defense. Again, a really, really great team. The Detroit Lions, obviously, they were the best offense in football last year in terms of points per game. They are very fun to watch, and I'm interested to see what they are this year without their coordinators. And the Washington Commanders, man, Terry McLaurin now holding in at practice, so probably playing for this team. Jane Daniels is must-watch football, and this is where I'm at, guys. Again, I do want to reiterate as we get to the end of this video, I'm a massive football fan, so like as low as like the Saints and Browns, like I'll be watching every one of their games as much as I watched the Ravens and Bengals this year. But in terms of if I was like a casual viewer who I would really want to be tuning into, this is my list. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? If you love football, hit that sub button, hit that like button. I'll catch you next time. Peace.